100 wrestlers versus one gorilla. Everybody's been seeing this debate going around on social media.
Who would win in a fight, 100 men or one gorilla?
Oh, the average gorilla is 9 times stronger than a human being. It can lift up to 9,000 pounds. Oh, ye of little faith. You gotta stop being so negative. Of course, if it was 100 weaklings like me, that gorilla would grind our bones to dust.
Squeeze the jelly from your eyes.
But this right here is EK Wrestling. You can find or make a wrestling reference out of anything. So I thought, why not? Let me go ahead and put this silly debate to bed once and for all. And honestly, when you see the names on this list, it ain't gonna take 100 wrestlers to mollywop one measly gorilla, but I went ahead and slapped together 100 for the sake of authenticity. I split all of these wrestlers into 8 categories: ridiculously OP, pure monsters, sluggers, giants, forces of nature, tough ass women, crazy motherfuckers, and speed demons. And of course, I'm pulling all throughout history, not just WWE wrestlers, alive or dead, yada yada, blah blah blah. Let's start with the most obvious names, the best of the best, the creme de la creme, the Gokus and Supermans, the Batmans with prep time type wrestlers. Most obviously, we're gonna start with the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Yes, acknowledge him. And then you gotta go with Brock Lesnar, prime Super Cena. We ain't going with this last real world champion trying to ruin wrestling. All that is passe. I want the Cena that buried the Nexus. I want the Cena that came back off of a torn pecking record time. Fruity Pebbles John Cena. 2009 Randy Orton. Need I say more? Peak Kurt Angle? What you talking about, son? Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I have no love lost for him, but if we're talking about guys who ain't gonna do the job, that gorilla winning ain't gonna work for him, brother. You know you gotta go with the Hulkster. Bruno Sammartino, the longest reigning WWE champion of all time. I think he held it for 8 years at one point. 1998 Bill Goldberg, the strength and intensity of a gorilla himself. Just ask Bret Hart. And I'm gonna close out this category with Sting and The Undertaker. If it's season mode, if we're on the road to WrestleMania, those men would be enough for the gorilla story to be over. But since y'all are building this hypothetical gorilla up like he's damn Caesar or something, I'm about to throw some pure monsters at you. The type of guys that are perfectly fit for this scenario. You only need at least one of these guys to ensure victory, but a whole crew, and it's gonna be GG's for Mr. Donkey Kong. It's gotta be Kane. Hall of Pain Mark Henry. The Redeemer, Miro, Rusev, whatever you want to call him. Obafemi. Give me Samoa Joe, the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu, Umanga, Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow, Big Van Vader, Tsunami. Now we need some guys with peak strength, peak physicality, and peak form. 2005 to 2007 era Dave Bautista, Lex Luger, the Ultimate Warrior, and the almighty Bobby Lashley. Now let's throw in some tag teams. The most dominant and arguably greatest tag team of all time, the Legion of Doom. I'm talking Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk. Their formula has been so successful that they were knocked off by Demolition. Let's add them in there too. In modern times, the War Raiders, in my opinion, they kind of fall in the big bruiser tag team mold. And then the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor. Please don't laugh laugh at me with this selection, but you had to be there. Give me NXT Demon Finn Balor. Now we're gonna go on to the wrestlers that I like to call sluggers. Just some badass mother truckers that you wouldn't want to meet in the alley. If you're stuck in the fight of your life, you know they got your back. And all of these guys together, that great ape Vegeta is gonna turn into some grade A vegetable soup. Give me Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Claudio Cesaro Castagnoli, Ilya Dragunov, his daddy and his uncle. Let's be real, once that gorilla sees Freakzilla, the percentage and chance of him winning is gonna drastically go down. The numbers won't lie, and they will spell disaster for him at Sacrifice. Ken Shamrock, Iron Sheik, the Ring General. Throw in the lariat Stan Hansen, his baby boy John Bradshaw Layfield, Farouk Ron Simmons, that APA gonna be pounding that monkey ass. Give me the Miracle Violence Connection, the Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki, the Stone Face Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii, the most notorious slugger in the history of the business, Haku. We already over 50, and I know it won't take half of those dudes to beat that punk ass monkey. But if you ain't convinced with the superhumans, the monsters, and gladiators, we have literal giants. Andre, Big Show, Braun Strowman, and Omos. You don't think that the four of those guys could hold down that gorilla? They might not even need the other ones to tag in. But if that ain't enough for you, I'm not out of tricks yet. Wrestling is a very wacky world. We have forces of nature beyond human comprehension, let alone a primate. When he sees these wrestlers, he's gonna run away just like he did on that episode of SpongeBob. The Fiend, imagine him getting stuck in the Firefly Funhouse and unwinding every bit of trauma that he had in the wild. Let's keep it in the family with the Wyatt Six. I don't know what they're doing now, but we do remember that they murked some folks last summer. And just to be fair, let's also throw Brody Lee, Luke Harper in that, because he was a member of the Wyatt family. Give me the Boogeyman, Papa Shango, the infamous Tongaloa. I should have placed this man in ridiculously OP because he has the most championships in the history of the business. Yes, I am talking about Vacant. We have real natural disasters, an earthquake and typhoon, a face that is so horrifying, a spirit that is so diabolical that it is a miracle that everyone made it out of Las Vegas with their souls. Yoshihiko can take that gorilla down now. And last but not least in this category, I gotta go with the Crimson Not So Chin himself, James Ellsworth, because he taught us that any man with two hands has a fighting chance. Let's give it up for some tough ass ladies that you can throw in there. And the women that I'm about to mention are strong enough to handle the men on this list, so surely they could power scale with the rest of these folks. China, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Beth Phoenix, Awesome Kong, Nia who breaks bitches' faces, Jax, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Jazz, and Bull Nakano. Whoever would want to mess with either one of them. All right, so I have given you over 80 of the strongest and most indomitable acts in professional wrestling history. For these last two sections, I'm not saying that you need some sacrificial lambs. You just need some
Crazy motherfucker! Yeah!
who are willing to risk it all. No matter if they get torn limb from limb, if they're bleeding crimson mass, as long as the goal is reached, you can call these men for the job. Weapons, mayhem, carnage, extreme violence. Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Shane McMahon. This man has had his balls electrocuted. He's jumped off of stages and cages, all for his dad's approval. You don't think if Fitz told him to make that gorilla his bitch, that bro might die for the cause? Kevin Owens, Jon Moxley, New Jack, the Dudley Boys, and Raven. And last but certainly not least, to get us to the 100 mark, we'll need some people to run some distractions, some mix-ups. We need our speed demons. They can lead the charge, making the gorilla as dizzy as hell, so that way the others can put in that work. They've already pretty much signed up for this contest, so we're adding Fraxium. And if we're gonna add Fraxium, then we gotta add Seth Rollins' pre-ACL tear to this speed list. AJ Styles when he was back in TNA. Will Ospreay, Pac, Ricochet, the greatest high flyer of all time, and Rey Mysterio, and Rey Phoenix. Well, there you have it. Count it up, read it and weep. I got my 100 wrestlers list all straight from the dome, and I didn't use some bullshit AI to come up with it. But now that I'm finished, I want to know what you think. Did I leave anybody out? Are there any glaring omissions? You don't have to make a solid 100 list unless you really want to. Quote it, duet it, freaking retweet it, wherever this is going, comment and let me know what you think. Appreciate you. Love you. My voice is still gone from Mania, and I stayed up all night making this shit.